Thanks for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Please proceed for boarding.
Standing boarding card, just restart, please. Thank you.
Excuse me, can I have a seatbelt extender, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Crew, please prepare for takeoff.
I love to fly. I really love flying. And my only stress in relation to flying comes from interactions with other people. It's like I have a hyper awareness of my body at all times that other people don't have to think about. They don't have to think about their space and how much or little they're taking up. And I'm always trying not to burden someone else with my body.
It's nerve-wracking. I have the same experiences I think every fat person has, walking onto the plane.
When the other passengers look at you and you get the expression.
Being gazed at by everyone on the plane who's like
hoping and praying.
Holding their breath and hoping that you're not coming to sit next to them.
The worst that ever happened, it was this one flight. I picked the window seat. I pre-boarded so I wouldn't be in the way, and I was settled in my seat. And this woman, she was so petite, but she was still complaining about having to sit next to me loudly.
I have sat next to somebody who was openly hostile about sitting next to a fat person. Even if I didn't bump into him, I strained my whole body to practically pitch myself out the seat on the other side.
I had a guy once slammed the arm down in between us, which was really painful. Somebody slamming something into the side of your body hurt.
And the first thing he did is want to put down the arm. And he saw that doing that was excruciating for me.
And he kept pushing the arm down, which was like pushing into my belly and my thigh.
She was yelling at me. You need to move. I'm not going to sit next to you. She called over the stewardess, tried to get the stewardess to move me.
But he refused to even sit in the seat. He came down, dropped his bag in a big old huff, went swimming upstream to go loudly complain to the stewardess.
For him, I was just a beast.
In an airplane, unlike in every other part of our daily life, the space itself is so commodified.
It's crowded and uncomfortable, and it just feels like kind of this hostile environment.
Everyone is fully aware of how much money they spent for those cubic inches.
Also, if you don't fit, it makes it even worse.
I think there's some really hardwired ideas in our brain about what's fair. And I think that when it's a small place and everyone's deciding what piece they should have, when they look over and they see someone who's so much bigger than them, who has no choice but to take more than their fair share.
And there's sort of a culture that's been created around flying while fat that you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be on this plane, you're taking up too much space.
Whether they're conscious of it or not, the energy directed at me with resistance and anger and disdain for my size is amplified pretty dramatically.
Just the fact of not fitting in the seats, that's the worst of it. Even though I know it's a conscious choice to make the seats small enough that they can get so many seats on the plane and get more money out of each flight, it still makes me feel like less of a person.
So if I could take the average thin passenger that is angry that they have to sit next to a fat person, and if I could show them one thing that might humanize fat people to them.
From the minute I get on the plane, I mostly just ignore everybody. I get into my seat and I sort of lean into it.
How we're all kind of rocket scientists at spatial relations. How mindful we are of other people's space.
And if the person sitting beside me recognizes that I'm doing what I can to be as unobtrusive as I can, then it makes me feel better. It's like I can breathe a sigh of relief. But for the most part, my tactic is to kind of hug myself and squeeze into the window and stare at the whole flight and just sort of disappear.
not just for your benefit as like the person next to us, but for our safety, because we don't want to be abused. We just want to get from point A to point B without physical pain or being harassed.
We're all in a strange public interaction that is prompted by the constriction of space. Our public decorum has been broken, and all we know how to do is to break our own civility based on standard lines of hatred. So, yeah, this guy is going to hate the fat lady next to him.
So I don't necessarily know if there's like some way to fix this, unless people learn that it's okay to be different sizes, and that's a long time off goal, you know? That's a deep psychological cultural change goal. That takes time. That takes generations. Like, how do you fix people being okay with people being different sizes and maybe not getting an equal share, but having that still mean they get their fair share?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please remain seated until the seatbelt signs above your head have been switched off. Captain Kai and his crew would like to take this opportunity to thank you for traveling, and we wish you a pleasant stay here to our safe onward journey, and of course a nice and relaxing weekend. See you soon. Take care. But goodbye.